Hey guys, this is Chris Cicero from Physics Today, and as you can see, I'm in Italy. I'm just kidding. I'm in Niles, Illinois. Due to strict COVID-19 guidelines, I couldn't leave the country, but that does not stop the use of physics. Today, we will go over the use of the scientific method, physics and its history, the use of classical physics, the use of electromagnetism, the use of modern physics, and a technology that uses quantum mechanics. All of these topics will be accompanied by real-world examples or my own personal experience. Hey guys, this is Chris Cicero from Physics and its history. Physics is the branch of science concerned with the nature and properties of matter and energy. The subject matter of physics, distinguished from that of chemistry and biology, includes mechanics, heat, light and other radiation, sound, electricity, magnetism, and the structure of atoms. The word physics comes from the Greek word for nature. Greek philosophers were wondering if events actually happened from the gods or even magic. Eventually, through a bunch of trial and error, physicists have become better with their theories. Physics is applied to almost everything. Before I became a vlogger, I was a radiographer. I was responsible for taking diagnostic images that doctors order. Little did the patients know was that they were part of a physics principle called thermionic emission. Thermionic emission is where the whole process of taking an X-ray starts. Thermionic emission is the release of electrons from a heated metal called the cathode. Don't worry, X-rays aren't as dangerous as before. It is mostly heat coming out of the tube instead of radiation. You happen to get more radiated by flying than getting a chest X-ray because you are closer to the sun. Scientific method. Physics principles were not just started out of nowhere. There was a process. This process is called the scientific method. There are 6 steps. Ask a question about something being observed, do research, create a hypothesis, experimenting, analyze the data, and draw a conclusion, and then share the results. These steps are in order from beginning to end, and they all work together to get an answer. For example, they were trying to find out how fiber optics can be improved. So, they asked the question, how can fiber optics be improved? That's the first step. Second step, they researched and they found out what materials were best. The hypothesis was materials technology is not necessarily a problem, but it could be enhanced to make fiber optic communication better and can also create more compacted fiber optic devices. Step 4, they experimented and made optical isolators miniature-sized. Step 5. They found that nanoscale iron garnet films open up the possibility of having smaller fiber optic devices. Step 6. They share the results to improve materials technology. Classical physics. Galileo Galilei and Isaac Newton were physicists from the 16th and 17th century. Galileo is known as the father of modern science, and Newton is famous for his laws of motion. Both of them had laws of motion. Galileo stated that motion is caused by force, and Newton went further with his laws of motion. His third law of motion states that for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. For example, if I flew to Italy, I would be in a plane. The plane moves forward because of the engines, but to go higher into the air, it depends on the angle of the wings. The wings are forced upwards because they are tilted, pushing the air downwards. The angle of attack will cause the plane to ascend or descend. Electromagnetism. Electromagnetism is a theory that states that electromagnetic movement travels at light speed in the form of waves. This was discovered by James Clerk Maxwell. In order for me to upload this video, I had to use my cell phone and computer. What we cannot see is that both use electromagnetic waves. These radio waves are not visible like light. The radio waves used for cell phones and computers have a high wavelength compared to visible light's low wavelengths. The radio waves sent the information to and from the cell phone. Modern physics. Albert Einstein was a physicist in the 19th century. He won the Nobel Prize for Physics in 1921. He came up with the general theory of relativity, which states that space and time are two aspects of space-time, and special theory of relativity, which states that energy and mass are interchangeable. For example, if I actually flew to Italy, I would be younger than my friends back home. This can be explained by Einstein's theory of special relativity. Since I would have been traveling at hundreds of miles per hour, I would be moving closer to the speed of light than my friends. This means I would have been aging slower because the theory states that time slows down or speeds up depending on how fast I was moving compared to them. Quantum mechanics. Quantum mechanics is a science dealing with the behavior of matter and light on the atomic and subatomic scale. It attempts to describe and account for the properties of molecules and atoms and their constituents, electrons, protons, neutrons, and other esoteric particles such as quarks and gluons. These properties include the interactions of the particles with one another and with electromagnetic radiation. This morning, before I made this video, I knew I had to get some breakfast to start my day. I start off by making some toast. When I pull the lever down, I notice after a few seconds that there's a red glowing light that is hot. It is actually glowing red because the metal is being heated by high frequency light once the lever is pulled down. It turns off and the bread pops up when the timer goes off. Today we went over physics and its history, the use of the scientific method, the use of classical physics, the use of electromagnetism, the use of modern physics, and a technology that uses quantum mechanics. Physics will continue to surround us and will eventually improve. This just means that our quality of life will be made better. I hope you guys learned a lot and enjoyed. Thank you and see you around. strict COVID-19 guidelines, I couldn't leave the country, but that does not stop the use of physics. Today, we will go over the use of the scientific